We are here. My camera is not quite pointing at me. Hello. Is this? No? There I am. Alright. Hi. Hi, chat. Welcome to I'm Not Trying to Kill You. We're playing the Republic today. And we're down one player, unfortunately. I'm your host, Ash. My pronouns are she, her, hers. And yeah. So far this is our third episode? Yes, third episode, of our little game about being sad and oppressed, and then hopefully fighting back against it and not getting wrecked. Let's talk about who people are and what their characters are and all those sorts of things. What are your pronouns? We don't have a Luke today, so hey Andrew, how are you doing?
I'm okay. Someone's pressure washing next door, pretty much directly outside my room, so you might hear some sounds.
Some mysterious sounds.
They're not mysterious, they're just pressure washing.
Pressure washing is mysterious.
Their motivation for doing
what are they?
Yeah, what is being washed could be the mystery, yeah.
I'm Andrew, my pronouns are they, them. I'm playing Pyros, who is a man who is crippled because he's a war veteran, and the government doesn't like that.
Yeah, it's got some feelings. Hey Anya, how you doing?
I'm good. I'm Anya, or Keeters. I use she, her, and yeah, I'm playing. There's no pressure washing happening outside for me, just in case y'all are wondering. Or maybe I'm the one doing the pressure washing. But I'm playing Risa, who is a shit kid.
All right.
And what more description of Risa do you need?
In the nicest ways, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, no. Also, Risa uses they, them pronouns, and Pyros uses
Yes.
he, him. Thanks for suggesting that.
In the eyes of the oppressive culture, Risa is a shit kid, and in the eyes of Pyros.
I mean, I think Pyros is trying to...
I mean, that's a lot of eyes.
Something
Lovable shit kid.
He's doing his best to be friendly and respectful. He doesn't know how.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Hi, I'm Sean. I use he, him pronouns. I'm playing Shadi. She was captured in a previous war and then entered into a marriage of where she was taken very good care of, despite the fact that she wasn't in it consensually, or it wasn't her wishes to be in it. But now, however, that the old regime has fallen, she has been stripped of any sort of privileges she might have had and is trying to deal with both the lack of citizenship and also the lack of the finer things that she's used to. And she uses she, her pronouns.
Yeah. So I thought we would go over like kind of the events of last week's game, because what I'm planning to do is take the token play and make that the token earning and make that part of a recap. And then we can also at the same time talk about X card stuff. So because this is a pretty intense game, I'd like to remind us all that we have two ways of communicating that if we're struggling with any content, or if we just need to like back off. You can verbally say X card or red card. I'd like to red card this. Or if you're really struggling, you can put your hand up to the camera, open palm. Let us know, hey, that's like I need a minute, and I'm struggling because I know that I at least sometimes get nonverbal when I'm struggling with that sort of stuff. So we want to make sure that we have a nonverbal signal as well. If that happens, we'll be like, cool, we get it. We're all nice, friendly adults who are here to like play a game together and respect each other, we will back off that thing never happened, or we can skip over it. We won't question why this was a thing for you, because that's not important. But yeah. What were some of the events that that triggered us getting coins from last time? Getting tokens, because we had a couple of really a couple of good scenes about where we actually came into contact with some roughness.
One of the tokens was... Hi. In the middle of something.
What?
I'm in the middle of something.
Of a game?
Yeah.
Good luck.
Okay.
Hi,
Hello.
friend.
Oh, could y'all hear that?
Yeah.
I thought I muted myself.
All good.
It's
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
There was a scene where Raisa was like... Oh, wait, no, sorry. I'm getting tokens mixed up with the... getting more dice by making things go wrong.
Oh yeah. What were some of the things that we saw last week? What were some of the scenes
Yeah.
that we had that we thought were particularly important that we want to just remember?
I want to bring up that in Pyros's slummy sort of apartment or tenement house, there was a mother named Parsa who was getting sought out by the, what are they called?
Mothers of Mercy?
Mothers of Mercy, yeah. And there was a cop with her, this woman who was coming to check on Parsa, and Pyros deflected them, being like, oh no, Parsa moved or whatever, to spare her needing to deal with that.
Mm-hmm. Yep. That was really good.
And then we later saw Raisa on the way to their appointment with the Mothers of Mercy, and the appointment itself was awful. I don't know, Keeters, if you want to talk about it, but I remember particularly the way there, Raisa was confronted by some citizens who were drunk and...
No, that was on the way to deliver food.
Yes, oh, that makes sense, because I thought something about her having food, yeah. I think it was delivering food to Pyros, in fact, and some very cocksure citizens, I use both of those, I use that word very intentionally, thought that they would trouble Raisa during its delivery, and Raisa instead melted one of the swords in the leader's hand. I don't have his name handy, but he is a named character now. He was Amoros, I think.
Amoros, yeah.
Yeah.
Amoros's hand is permanently, I believe he survived it, but his hand is maimed.
He's maimed as... Which,
as we discussed, since part of being citizenry is being able-bodied, effectively, maybe not immediately, we don't know what his care situation is, but effectively is going to remove him as a citizen.
Yeah, because the nation as a system will be like, oh, you need care now. You need to be looked after. So therefore, you've moved from being the powerful to being the cared for,
the pitiful,
but also oppressed. Yeah.
Right, and and then had a very tender and sweet moment. I think it was under the veil of many layers of I don't care and no, I don't care either. Yeah, there
exactly.
Some tenderness between Raisa and Pyros over food and the carvings that Pyros is making.
Yeah, I'm making a Raisa carving.
Yeah. Cool. Ink has reminded me that if chat needs to red card, we use the vote nay emote, because that way, if chat needs to be if there are people in chat who are like, hey, this is rough for me, they can tap out, but they can also let us know that that's a thing. where the audience is actually struggling with the content, just so that we're aware of that, because there might be things that are, for instance, we're all white. We might not pick up on some things that are going to be traumatic for a bunch of members of the audience that are people of color. So that's a really good way for them to be like, hey, actually, we're going to tap out, but also just be aware that this is happening. So that vote nay, the little red circle, is a really good way to just communicate that with us.
I have a question. Is the nay symbol one of the emotes that everybody has access to?
Yes, everyone has access to it. Yep, it is.
Cool. Oh, I see it right there.
Yeah, capital V, capital N. So capital V OTE, capital N AY, is everyone can use that to communicate with us while we're playing.
I'm going to practice it right now. This is not an actual vote. This is just me practicing. Nope, I did it wrong. It's okay.
Also, chat, remember that you are affecting you can affect the outcomes of rolls in the game, because you are the chorus of fates. You can vote for fire, earth, water, air, or self to add dice to the players' pools. Cool. So the other thing that I wanted to touch on was, Shadi, you managed to get to just outside your appointment, because you were having to go and be interrogated or similar at the, what's the name of it?
It is
forum.
It's in
the Citizens Forum.
The Citizens Forum.
Citizens Forum. There we are. Yep. Yes, it does persist, but if your name is the same, your vote still counts the same. So yeah, do we want to come in on, do we want to come in hard, Sean? This is up to you, depending on how up for it you are. Do we want to come in on Shadi at the Citizens Forum, or do we want to come in on something a bit softer?
I think Shadi at the Citizens Forum is a great opening scene. She diffused a very minor situation of sort of an enfeebled person outside that was kicked out, and she kind of got them outside of the view of tended to them, if you will. But that was sort of all precursor to actually going to her appointment. So yeah, I think in front of the justice, Victus, I believe.
Yeah, Victus is the justice.
Is his name? Of course, it's his name.
Yeah.
I'd be.
Yeah. So I think the Citizens Forum has stared, almost like grandstand sort of thing, where it's stairs that people can sit or stand on, alongside, and then there is the space in the middle, where you have to stand and be paraded around in. Right. And sometimes there's multiple people being interrogated, and sometimes it's just one. Sometimes people will go there to make grand speeches and things like that to an audience. I think when you go in there today, though, we decided it was pretty mid-morning. I think that you were there, and I think it's do we know what season it is? Because I kind of want to make it autumn.
Autumn sounds great to me.
I feel like autumn maps fine to everything we've talked about so far.
Yeah, so, cool. So it's this weird, slightly hazy, that sad autumn morning light is just kind of casting weird shadows into the forum. I think there's some discarded refuse or trash that is that was probably dropped by the guy that just got that just left that you rescued. So there's a little bit of refuse around on the floor, and there's it's that thing of a stadium with only a few people in it, where it feels really really large and empty. So there's there's Victus sitting in like a prime like position of like, oh, I'm the person that's conducting affairs at the moment. And I think that's like actually quite low, so that he can step off and into the forum to like walk around you and like, as part of the interrogation.
It's part of like the visual othering as well. I think Victus and probably all the other citizens here are dressed. We established the colors were blue and gold, and Shadi is wearing the previous Empire's colors, which are black and red, black and burgundy, because that's the only nice clothes she has.
Yeah,
and you're expected to dress nicely in these events, but obviously it would be preferable if she was wearing the current Republic's garb, and I think that it's, you know, there's also some fraying. They're not like in perfect. Her garb is not in perfect condition because it's old as well. So
I love the visual image of her like getting ready in the morning and having like a chiton and then then the fancy dress, and having them like laid out in front of her and trying to choose, like, do I wear this slightly frayed red and black and burgundy dress, or do I just like own it and wear a chiton? And like having to make that decision is a really great image.
And she definitely made the decision. I think the decision she keeps making, which is to try and appear like a dignified lady, because I think if she wears the chiton at this meeting, there's some part of her whole desire to become a citizen that she'll be giving up on. And because it's sort of like frayed along the left bottom seam, she always tries to keep that hidden and like always sort of tilt her body slightly so that it's not visible. So if the justice is like walking around her, she's like trying to like pivot, you know, so that she's facing him. But if there's more people in the audience, then it's, you know, it's impossible to really completely hide
but
that.
like the justice is the one that she's like specifically like. So yeah, I think he's got like something between a cane and a switch. Like it's very like
of course he does.
A long like it's ostensibly like it's a thing that is designed to look like it's a walking cane, but it wouldn't support his weight. And it's mostly just like used for like gesturing and like he taps on the ground as he like stalks around you. He'd like.
I imagine it could also be used as something like a gavel to like bang against his desk or something like that if he wants attention.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think there are desks in here. I think it's there's the big piece of bronze or brass that is used as like a gong. So I think he uses it on that.
Nice.
But at the moment I think like we see Shadi in this like weird half daylight. Because of the like hazy autumn light, and everything in here has unsettling shadows, and I think Victus is actually really short, and I think he's like peering up a little at Shadi as he like stalks around her, like tapping on the ground with his switch, and he kind of looks up at her and is like, "So, Shadi, did we work out what your last name was?"
Yeah, it's Dominus.
Oh yeah, Shadi Dominus, and like he rolls that unpopular name, just like really like draws it out. It's like, a valuable member of our community. You show up here slightly early every time. You're so eager to be a part of our great republic. The Senate. Who is it that has the forum? It's just, So the forum recognizes your devotion to the values and laws of our society. Tell me, Shadi, what do you think is the most important of our laws?
Thank you, Justice. The most important of our laws is for every citizen to have a vote in the Republic, that they may guide the Republic through current peril and into future greatness. And there's at least some part of that that's very scripted, but I don't think that is necessarily like the common sentiment.
Yeah, and Victus is like, yes, a very interesting choice, especially from someone who benefited so much from the previous regime that was nowhere near as democratic. I'm sure that you probably feel very remorseful for the things you took from the people in that time, don't you? And yeah, he's trying to come at you. There's some damage coming at you here.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think Shadi's trying to keep her cool. She doesn't want to explode and lose her temper in any way, and doesn't want to show emotion, because this is the ultimate test of that. And what she would like to do is retort him, but more likely the expectation is that she will just accept it and apologize. So yeah, I would like to try and offer a response to the effect that is a subtle way of saying, actually, my late husband was the one who took everything, including me. But I don't know if Shadi's going to be that suave. I don't know if she can do it. I think there's nice to find out.
Yeah, so I think there's two. Let me double check the rules for like combat, because this is a combat, effectively. Let's see. For when there's damage coming in, avoid specific circumstances. When you're going to get hurt, the GM will tell you how much how much harm you're going to take. It's 2. If you try and avoid the harm in some way, which that sounds like you're doing, that harm is reduced by 1 for each success. For each harm remaining, choose one of your dice and make it dead. Now, one of the important things here is to remember that that compromises are a thing. So
as long as you get one success, you can.
Yeah, exactly. So if you get one success, you can buy the other one with a compromise.
Got it. And there's more than just the mechanic of having dead dice as well. There is the narrative that if you suffer these wounds, that you are suffering these wounds, that you are accepting. In this case, it's that I'm accepting like this disgrace, right? Like that's
exactly. Yep.
Right.
Which is then represented by the wounds, right? Like that's
right.
Yeah, it's damaging to your internal. I mean, this is the thing. You get to choose which dice you lose, and that tells us about about what those effects look like.
Yeah. I mean, this is not the first time that Shadi has come to the Citizens Forum, but I think that every time she comes, the Justice has some other fault that he finds with her. He's very good at that. And so she prepares all the time to try and she tries to be prepared with all of the answers. And she's sure at some point that she studied the correct citizen's response to this, but can she say it eloquently? Can she remember it in time and all of those things? I'm going to find out. I feel like of what I'm trying to do right now, what I'm trying to do is kind of twofold. What I'm trying to do in this exact moment is avoid his reproach. And so it seems like avoid is the right action. I do also want to try and convince him. I sort of want to turn this around and convince him that many of the things that happened were a result of her circumstances, which weren't her choice. But I don't know whether we should handle that as 2 roles or as...
No, I think that sounds like it's the same role. You're avoiding having it pinned on you.
Yeah. Okay. Sounds good. Let's do that. Let's roll some avoid dice. I am not going to bend because I'm in front of a citizen, and I don't want. I don't want to get in trouble.
No, I was gonna say like you can be subtle, but I don't think you can be that subtle.
Yeah. So I'm gonna roll my 3 air dice, and Then I'm gonna roll. I think I'm gonna bring in knowledge of being conquered, occupation, a fine brush.
If there's also, remember that you can use like a fictionally established elements of the scene as armaments if you need to.
Okay.
Well, I don't see any that are helping you here.
I don't. Well, yeah, I think this space is intentionally devoid of. I think this space is intentionally devoid of armaments for this purpose, right? Like it's meant to strip people down. So, okay. So let's. Where do I click? Oh, there we go. Got the right number of dice. All right. Oh goodness. My dice are all in favor of this right now.
Wow. Excellent.
3 successes and no dead dice.
Yeah, I think you managed to turn it around on him a bit. What does that look like?
Shadi says, you're right. She says, it's true. And I think he has this feeling of like, haha, I get to rub it in her, make her look terrible. And she says, it's true. There are many people that suffered under the old regime. And then she spots some details about her homeland. And she kind of weaves it in slowly. It's like they were rousted from their home, or that's even too well. They were rousted from their homes. They were they had to trade their boots for sandals. They were brought here and made the servants and the slaves and the wives of the citizens. And I try to make him feel a little guilty for his complicitness in the previous culture, because everybody was. I mean, like everybody here is wearing black. They all were part of this previous,
Yeah. So I think at this point we hear a voice from the stands. There's like 3 other people in the forum, and when one of them speaks up and is like. See, Victus, she has pointed. She has shown you your own reflection. Your wife, I believe, is also a prize from distant lands. Is she not, Victus? Tell me, beautiful prize. Whom are you married to now? And you like immediately recognize the voice of Integravertus, who is like one of the like celebrities amongst the Republic. He's known for having like for like being a dick and just like asking people like question after question after question and being like, yes, but why do you believe that? Oh, is that? And like he's dickhead Socrates. Like
nice. And he's interrogating me, right? He was calling out Victus, but he was really like just turning around on me.
Yeah, he was trying to turn it around on you. Yeah. Like he's moved it to.
When you say dickhead Socrates, you just mean Socrates, right?
Yes,
right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was gonna say
just like, regular Socrates.
Yeah. But the point is, he's like. Even Chad is chiming in. So he's like coming, like kind of making this into like a thing that is less explicitly about you and your behavior and more about like, he's like, like asking like, have you remarried and all of those sorts of things.
Right. Do I know, I would imagine that people's, in the Republic, people's private lives are sort of non-existent. Like public life and private life is about
especially not for you. I think if you're a citizen, you can kind of invoke a privacy thing, but not. Right. It's not common.
But I don't imagine you invoke privacy about like big things like who you're married to.
No, certainly not. No.
If what is this person's name again?
Integravertus. He's a pillar of the Senate. He specifically is
he married?
No, he's not. Yeah.
Okay, cool, wonderful. Then I'm going to do a horrible thing to compromise my own feelings in an attempt to get out of an uncomfortable situation, which is to try to flirt with him, which is awful and gross.
Yep.
And it's a self-defense mechanism that Shadi has. And I say, and I like look very demure and like bow my head, whereas I was kind of like staying proud when I was talking to the justice. I kind of like hunch forward and I'd sort of use visual expressions to show lower status, and then kind of peer up over my, sort of peer up at him and say, no, no worthy citizen has found no citizen has found me has deemed me worthy of them yet. And she sort of lingers on that yet, is an attempt to make suggestion towards this monstrous person.
Okay. Now that sounds like you're trying to like build desire.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He is a pillar, which means that he has. Let me check his. So that's 2. What is his? What is his vulnerability? It is not that. Okay, so you're not getting a bonus from because his vulnerability is water, but that is okay. Is his strength? Where is it? Players take actions that match the vulnerability. Players take actions to response. No, so it's not in response, which means that you're looking for 3 successes.
Cool. And I want to paint also like I want to. We were talking a lot about like the scope and the scale of this game, and that it's very low stakes. This is not a super overt move. Like, this isn't like Shadi saying like, "Hey, let's hook up after this meeting."
Yeah.
Or trying to
yeah, fair. No, let's make it 2, because
Okay.
yeah, you're trying to just create something small. So
Yeah, the whole idea is just a little bit of like to try and get him to leave her alone, by like appealing to his own vanity and narcissism and that. So
Yep.
And depending on successes, you may kindle something.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And that wasn't to try to get the difficulty lower. I just wanted to like state that like Shadi isn't.
It's like that's the thing of like establishing what our fictional thing is, so that we can make sure that we've got the numbers right.
Yeah. I keep not being able to remember where the heck I put the PDF. What are good dice for build? I know Earth is good. Is Self good on build?
Yep,
I will eventually
Self is
find
not
that.
bad. I think Water is actually also not terrible at it. Where is it? It is under Elemental Actions on page 9 on the PDF.
Got it.
So for build, you're looking 4, 5, 6, 11, 12, 13, 14. So yeah, Self and Water are probably pretty good as well. Air is pretty shit.
All right, let's throw some Self at it and throw some Earth and some Self at it. And roll and build. Oh no! Oh, that's bad.
Yep. Yeah. So yeah.
All the things.
Yep.
Oh
Integral
no!
bonus, yeah, like
I did so well and then so not well.
But you can. Oh no, you didn't get a single
You
success.
didn't get a single success, so you can't purchase any more.
Yep.
Yeah, this is
Because I was going to say there's such a clear compromise.
Yep.
In that Integratus takes it as overt flirting.
Yeah, but this is 6 minus effectively. So yeah, he's like, no citizen has seen fit to you. You assume, of course, that you're worthy of being the wife of a citizen. A citizen of this new republic that has no intention of such barbaric things as taking humans as prizes. Here, men are equal. They are equal, miss. And I would have you remember that you are also equal to every other member of our society that is not a citizen, and that is where I believe you'll find your companionship. And yeah, he's like, I wonder, in fact, what it was that made you think that you should be in that position. And yeah, he's hammering you with this
Nice.
how dare you make that assumption.
I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like he could really take this a step further, and not necessarily because he has like the legal authority, but just because he has the social and political clout to essentially make it impossible for me to be eligible to marry a citizen at this point. Like, it seems like it's reasonable for him to just like ostracize me in that way. I don't know that that's as far as what you're thinking, but what's that?
Are you flipping a token?
Oh yeah, there we go. I was like, isn't there a way that I can make things worse? Yep, there we go.
Yeah.
Yep.
I was gonna say, that sounds like a token right there.
Remind me, do the tokens flip from black to white, or?
Yep. So right click on a black one, and then you
Got it.
Yeah, got it. Cool.
Excellent.
Awesome. He's like,
Yeah.
He's like,
I think that there'd be like murmurs of like people talking, and it would just be very clear that they're all looking at her disdainfully. Like,
Yeah,
she's
and
not
he's
worthy
like-
of any of them.
he's like, yeah. I think he doesn't like explicitly ban it, but I think he puts kind of like a social a social black mark on you, right?
That I'm a pariah, that I'm looking for a husband. Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, see this woman who would once again bring herself up above others by through marriage, through making herself available. She will take advantage again. This is the way in which women. The way in which women get what they want by offering themselves up to any wealthy man. He looks down. He looks down on you, and it's like, shame, shame, Shadi. You, no man would want such a thing from you. No. I think he says no real man would want such a thing from you.
Nice.
And it's like, go, leave this place, find yourself a husband appropriate to yourself. And I think that's probably.
Yeah, I think that's scene.
Do you want to try and rebut that? But because otherwise,
No.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
No, I think she's wrecked.
Okay. Cool. Yeah. I'm wondering, like, do we follow her to like do we see where she goes after that? Like, what's her?
Yeah, I mean, I think I would like to introduce the other.
Yeah, I was
Kuros and
wondering if you
Raisa.
go to the other characters. Was my question.
Yeah. I don't know to what degree. I haven't. This is an important question to wonder, because I don't know how Shadi deals with this kind of beratement. I don't know how she what she does with it. I feel like she might reciprocate it and let it out on other people, which is terrible. But she may also just sort of suffer from it and be miserable. Either way, it seems sensible to go find other people, whether she's gonna take it out on them or seek their solace. So Shadi and Pyros haven't had like a way that they're connected, and I would love to figure out a way that would work, particularly if it could include Raisa as well, but even if not. Andrew, do you think there's any social context under which Shadi and Pyros would still encounter each other?
Well, we kind of like butted heads very discreetly at the soup kitchen.
That's true,
towards
right?
the end of the last session, and
you just had this experience talking about captured wives of soldiers, right?
Exactly.
yeah, and he is a former soldier, and he is probably still at the soup kitchen when you're done, because he was going there for his treatments at the hands of
Carrix.
Carrix. So it could be he's coming out of his like medical, homeopathic, whatever situation that he's doing
Right.
with Carrick's, and that you see him at the soup kitchen.
Yeah, I think that
Awesome.
makes sense. So I think at this point, like, there's the harsh sun overhead of, like, it's not warm, but it's, like, kind of glary outside the soup kitchen. Yeah, and I think, yeah, like, you see the, like, awkward thing of Pyros trying to, like, open the door and, like, get, like, you know,
Yeah, like wiggle his way through.
yeah. Especially because, like, you're, like, probably, like, quite tired out from the...
Yeah, he's like in a lot of pain and discomfort because of the like treatments and stuff.
Yeah.
Trying to rehabilitate his
Not leg.
ruined body.
Yep.
Yeah, physical therapy is not fun in any form. I think if Shadi comes and you're like on your way out the door and it sees that you're struggling with it, she like jerks it open, like so as to make room for you, but also may unbalance you. Like she's not trying to knock you over, but she sees you're struggling with it, and she just like yanks it open.
Yeah, and he like half falls into the street and like barely catches himself on his crutch.
And she grumbles something about useless men under her breath, and it maybe it's aimed at Pyros. It's not, but it could be taken as that. And she sort of standing in the doorway and says, "Oh, are you through with your session already? I guess I didn't realize the time." And you can tell like Shadi is like, even though it's not super hot out, she is perspiring because the really heavy cloak, the really heavy garb that she's wearing, that she's been walking through that.
And she was like angry walking back from her.
Yeah.
Super angry walking, yeah. And she looks wounded from moving at a, and so she's kind of catching her breath as well as she's standing at the doorway. And
so yeah, he like fixes her with a look and then just says, "Well, you're hungry then? Come on inside," and like turns back and goes inside.
And I love the image because I can see the face that Luke would pull here, in that like in that Carrick's would be inside like cleaning something up after the therapy, and would totally make that look of like, that's what's happening, because that's what all of Luke's characters would do in that situation. It would be like,
right.
Oh, I see.
Yeah, and so Pyros is in his gruff way, like inviting you to sit down and eat with him because it's lunchtime anyways, or whatever. He can be heard inside being like, "Carrick's, I'm hungry."
Of course
like,
you are. I will find. Don't worry. That breakfast was delicious, and I will find something that is just as good.
I don't need. I'm not hungry. I'm fine.
You've had a busy morning, Shadi. Don't let your body go wither away for the sake of your reputation.
Thank you, Carrick's. I will. You're right. And it's like somewhat emphatic about Shadi right now that she doesn't need a man telling her what to do. That when
so she doesn't listen when Pyros says to do it, but
exactly.
Yeah.
Precisely. But I think like food does have a certain medicinal effect, and she's sort of, I know that Carrick's is big into soups and things like that, and so she dips into it, and if Pyros is willing to listen, she will start ranting about, like, starting vague but getting more specific about her recent experience. Right, like things are unfair and it's wrong, and like just sort of general venting that then gets real specific real quick if Firos doesn't stop it.
Yeah, I think Pyrrhus's mindset here is to like wish that he had some liquor to share as well, because that's how he deals with like being with feelings. And so he's like,
how do you deal with emotions? That's weird.
Rummaging in his like little pouch or whatever, and just like cursing because he can't find it, and is like letting Shoddy just like rant at him.
Yeah.
Liquor is the key to the man place. It unlocks the man place.
The golden liquid key to the man.
So you can shove your feelings down in there.
Oh,
Yeah,
right.
gosh.
Yeah, exactly.
It's
That's what he's
like-
after.
That was up the manhole that all the feelings go into.
And I'm sure Carrick ends up offering tea instead.
Yeah, not when. So at some point
like,
when
it's probably like it's probably got tea with like chamomile and like dandelion
Yeah.
and like licorice and peppermint, which will be like, because the characters will be like we'll just put it in front of you without words, and like the smell comes up and you're like, oh, like it's calming tea. I see. That's what Carrick's is like.
Yeah, he's trying to be like, calm the fuck down.
They're trying to be. Yeah.
Sorry, yes.
Yeah, I think they are, and I think that Shadi is not having. Well, she's already calmed down a little bit, but she's not. She doesn't want to be mollified.
Yeah.
And so she, it's a little. It's like it's nice at first when people do it, but if they persist, it's really patronizing. If like you're upset and people just keep being like, there, it's okay. And you're like, no, it's not okay. So at some point when when Pyrrhus like comes back from looking again for like the third time in the same bag for some booze, right? You know how you do that thing, you check each pocket like 45 times.
Yeah, exactly. And he's definitely the type to do that.
What do you like? Because she's like, how did you put up with him? How did you deal with? And I believe now I need to name my my husband.
And your husband was like my commanding officer or something?
Yeah, I think either your commanding officer or your peer, but I think he was your commanding officer, and
he was pretty important.
Yeah, I think
I don't
Pyrrhus
think he
was not
frontline
important enough
because,
to be the
like-
person's peer.
Like Pyrrhus is
He was important enough to have like a manner with servants.
Yeah. And like I think the thing is that
servant.
because you were one of the servants.
yeah, and like Pyrrhus
He is the
got injured because he was frontline.
Yeah, because he actually was a fighting soldier.
yeah. He's the one character that actually links the three of us. His name is Adonis. If that's not too close to Amros.
I mean,
but
that's fine.
But she's actually not going to refer to him as Adonis. She's going to refer to him as Dominus because that's.
I mean, I think most of the time
how-
he would have been referred to that way because he's like the head of the Dominus family, right? Like he is Dominus.
Right, exactly. How did you put up with Dominus and his arrogance and his aloofness and his self-certainty and his like? And basically, she's just talking about Interrogatus, but they share a lot of the same. They share a lot of the same characteristics.
Straw men for each other. Yeah,
exactly. So she's How did you put up with it, day in and day out?
And
she looks like she wants like a specific answer.
Yeah. I mean, no choice but to put up with it. Too busy trying not to die anyways.
No choice, but you're a man. You have a choice. Every man's a citizen. Every man gets to say what he wants and have an opinion and tell other people how they should and shouldn't be.
And here he's like gesturing with the spoon and he's like, nah, order, military order, chain of command. And besides, my job was to die on the front lines. Wasn't very good at it. And then he goes back to eating his soup. So don't ask me.
You're just telling me you didn't figure it out either.
And he looks back at like, what is there to figure out? You're stuck in a place. You're stuck there. That's all there is to it. There's those who bear it with dignity and those that don't.
I like the idea that like you've got like some kind of like smear on your face from the therapy that you haven't cleaned up
He has
yet.
like some ointment on him or something.
Yeah.
right. Some
And
salt.
he's just as like huffy and perspiring as Shadi was, because I think there was like rehabilitation, like exercises and stuff. So he's all worn out. Yeah,
Right.
He does not look dignified at any
Yeah.
point. Certainly not now.
Yeah.
Right. So I was gonna ask, but I think that's a great like cut scene right there because
so.
it's gonna be like, well, what? I think the look that Shadi conveys is what side of that are you on? Like, where do you see yourself? Like, she gives this very like questioning look, but I think that's like it doesn't need to be answered.
Yeah.
I have a question.
Yes.
Shoot.
Can I build a thing inside of Shadi?
Yes.
Can I
Yes, you can.
help her be resilient, and will that
Yes,
have some
that's-
kind of mechanism?
Yep, because then you'd be building an armament for Shadi.
Yeah, so I want to do that.
Yeah. Go for it. What are you trying to build in Shadi? And like obviously you need Sean's buy-in, but
Yeah, so
Yeah.
are you comfortable with the idea of Pyros starting to build in Shadi this like stoicism, essentially? Because this is like the one lesson that Pyros has certainly learned, is to how to just like take your licks and just like not show it.
Yeah.
Just keep like stubbornly pressing on. And this is his advice to her on how to like deal with this problem, right? It's just like, I don't know, you don't change things, you just deal with them. You just put up
Right.
with it. You just be a stone. And he wants to like, this is him trying to be helpful, trying to be like, yeah, no, it's cool. You don't need to change things. You just need to like
Right.
be an invincible rock.
And I think that's what Shadi felt like she was doing or trying to do, like that when she was talking to Victus, she felt like, cool, I did it. I like dodged the bullshit. There's no right answer questions, and I like endured his insults while I was doing it. So right now she's in this like moment of frustration where she's like, I tried that and it didn't work for me. But she doesn't have Pyrrhus's resolve. She doesn't have his endurance for that kind of thing. So I think Sean loves the idea. Shadi is in the moment resistant to it because she feels like that has failed her and made things worse for her, and that she wants to affect change. She wants things to be different. So I say go for it. I think it's going to be difficult.
Maybe after I give you this rousing speech, it will help as well.
yeah, I'm wondering if Shadi is going to try and avoid this. Like,
I still have air dice. I'm out of all the other dice.
like that's the thing. I mean, but remember, I want to just point out a thing, because like this is an important element of play. If you have no dice, you are incapacitated. If something would force dice off you, right? If there would be damage coming at you or similar, when you have no dice, that you're ended, right? Like that's, so if you exhaust yourself and then like take a hit, that character's out of the game. And you will need a new one.
So pick your battles wisely is what
Yeah.
I'm hearing.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, just
right.
be aware of that.
Well, right now I've got, all my earth and self dice are toast. I still have my air, but I think that's an interesting.
Do you have to avoid?
No, well, like I'm just saying, like, if Shadi is specifically trying to like resist, like trying to not listen to this, that would be avoiding. But whether or not she has the energy is up to her.
And so Pyros, I think we'll carry on with the conversation here. And so Pyros is just like, look, eventually they're going to run out of other people to let in to the place and make citizens. And so it's going to have to be you. They can't keep you away forever. And so if you're just the last one there asking for it, you'll get it. You just need to wait and be strong. That's how I put up with it. And he's like finished his soup and he pushes it away. And I'm gonna roll my dice.
Nice.
So let's see. What is my obstacle, Ash, to imbue this armament?
So my
of
question is,
stoicism?
Sean, is Shadi like going to try and avoid this? Because if Shadi's going to try and avoid it, then we'll just do it as a PvP. But
Yeah, I was gonna say I think this should be a versus test because if such things exist.
Yeah, no, they 100% do. It's just like your avoid successes will reduce the number of successes that that Andrew has. So Andrew just needs to if that's the case, then Andrew just needs to have one at the end.
Yeah. So so this is probably mechanically fortuitous for you, Andrew, because I'm going to avoid with very few dice, which will probably result in having fewer successes than if there was a flat ob. But I think it also makes sense because Shadi is exhausted right now and has having a really hard time.
She's not just going to accept this.
Yeah, she's not going to accept it, but she also doesn't have a lot of energy to rebuff it. And so she's like, that's ludicrous. You're silly. You're silly as a child who won't go outside because lightning might strike. Of course, there's a chance, but if you just wait for your chance to come up, you're going to be and then she's about to say like something really nasty, like you're going to be left behind, like reference Pyros, and she kind of cuts herself off because she doesn't actually want to be super mean right now. Yeah. But so she's just gonna be like, you're gonna be left behind, and kind of looks at one of your injuries and then looks away.
Now I want to also point out that in this, both of you can, if both of you get at least one success, you can both bid for additional successes with compromise.
We can compromise our way up to yeah. Great. And I feel like what I want out of this, if Shadi should win, is if this is okay, Andrew. I don't mean to set counter stakes, but since we're doing
I'm all for counter stakes. It makes sense.
I think the counter stake should be that Pyros realizes that, at least in Shadi's case, because of her temperament, because of who she is, the path for her is action. It's not patience, right? Like, it may not change his view of his entire life that he should be driven to action, but like, I think he should accept that for her, she needs to do something about it and not just wait.
It forces him to recognize that he might be wrong in this case.
Yes.
Yeah.
Cool.
Right. Well, I am going to secretly select how many dice I am rolling, and Sean, you should name.
Also secretly select how many dice I'm rolling. I gotta find. Hold on. I have the PDF. I just need to figure out where the heck I put it. Oh, I put it in my PDFs folder. That's where it
makes
is.
Sense.
It makes so much sense now.
Ash, can you remind me when we're using bending for self? What are we? That's like changing. That's like internal change. Or?
Yeah, that's both internal and your own physical change. It's like, it's the thing of like when you force your body to, like, through mystical manipulation, hold your breath for 10 minutes, or like those sorts of things, right? It's that thing of like Tai Chi superpowers, right? Like, yeah. Like, I can stand on one toe, sort of thing.
It's all mind over matter.
Yeah. But also, like, your own internal, like, control of your own thoughts and things like that as well.
All right. And because mechanically, like, our results are important, but I think it's worth pointing out. Well, Shadi is one of Shadi's armaments. Her Sind armament is Fashion of the Old Imperium, which is what she's wearing right now. And this is what you get if you just wait. You get left, like when she says you get left behind, like she's wearing the old colors and the old garb, and like that didn't do her any good. So she, like, at some point she like holds up the frayed edge of the sleeve to show like how it's just worn away. So I'm invoking that armament to show that, like,
so you'll roll
waiting.
the armament afterwards.
Okay, but I have secretly selected my dice as well, and I'm ready to roll them.
Cool.
Oh, there we go.
Pyrrhus has 2.
Hold on. Ignore the self. That was me.
Okay, all right, that's from last time.
Yeah, I had.
Okay, if you're not counting the self, then it's 2 successes, so you're both even currently.
Yeah.
Except for the fact that the fates have granted a success to Shardy.
Yeah.
Does anyone want to buy any more successes with compromises? Like, is that a thing?
Remind me how those work.
So, you can fictionally be like, I want this compromise to get me an extra success. You can only ever have up to 2 compromises on a roll. But you can so like if you wanted to get ahead of Shardy and actually be successful, Andrew, you'd need 2 compromises here. You are building, so the possible compromises are: what you build will be short-lived, what you build is less effective, you require some component, tool, or assistant to complete this, and then there's also the ones that are for all actions: you achieve less aversion, a cost must be paid, a complication arises, an armament is lost, damaged, or destroyed.
All right, here's the compromise. In order for this to really sink in, she does still need to update her wardrobe. Is this appropriate to say that there's like a step that needs to happen before this thing can function?
A tool. That seems like an appropriate thing to say. You need a component or a tool.
Yep. So some fashion will be required for you to be. You'll need to have like clothes to invest your stoicism into.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that like Pyrrhus has to do this work is part of the implication of this compromise, right?
So that gets you.
And that seems very appropriate to like a soldier, that your uniform is like a very a part of the way you identify yourself and the way you see yourself in other people's eyes as well.
Cool. You would need 1 more compromise after that to get.
But if I just stalemate Sean,
that's true. Then neither of the things happen.
Nothing happens. Then we just butt heads. Yeah.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Cool. Is that where we're at? Or Shardy, do you want to compromise to get back up again?
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, do I want to like try and I think that there's interesting. I would rather one of us win, because I think there's interesting results in one of us changing our opinions, but there's also something very tragic and sad about us not being able to learn anything from it. So like, I can see, Andrew, are you feeling the vibe that like this is a conversation that we should then have again later, and we'll find out next time how it goes? And so a stalemate right now makes a lot of sense.
I would like to point out that like, if it's a stalemate, Shardy hasn't lost anything, whereas Pyrrhus has lost oneself.
Yeah, I have taken a hit, and that's just it.
And then it's stalemate. Yeah.
And it's a stalemate.
I kind of love it. And then
I think so.
I just can't think of a good second compromise, and so I think
that's fair. That is a really tricky space for one. Yeah. So unless
that like if Pyrrhus could be like, and here are some clothes, like maybe he would be able to just be like, yeah, no, you're good. But he doesn't have the resources to actually help Shardy accomplish this thing.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So I think he recognizes that though he might be right, their circumstances don't like permit his approach to really work. So he's like, this could totally be a thing, but there are just too many step barriers in the way.
Right. So are you electing not to take that compromise then?
I think I'll just
not taking a second one. Yeah.
I'll just concede entirely here. Like, I'm not going to take the compromise at all.
Okay. All right. Yeah. Cool.
That he has to recognize that he's just wrong. Yeah. There would be a way, except that he doesn't have any resources to give.
Right. Because if he had enough resources, he could make those extra compromises and help her that way.
Yeah, there is a path to it, but
yeah.
And so
sorry that I fought your help, Pyrrhus. It was very kind.
And so he like realizes this when you respond, and you have these like these old clothes and stuff. And so he kind of just like puts his hand up and just says, well, maybe this old goat is wrong after all. maybe it can't be changed, or not my way. Been wrong a lot lately. And he like is like getting up and like working his crutch under his arm and
Yeah.
walks off. You're welcome to stop him. It's a very slow process. It's not like it's out the door.
I think that there's sort of one last sentiment that Shadow wants to share, which is like as you're getting ready, I think at least in this moment, the what I envision as the film depiction of this is like Shadi's worn clothes are and her uniform, and it's analogous to Pyrrhus's worn body, and like not that she's suffering the same pains that he has, but that this, even though like they didn't agree, they connect in this moment, and Shadi like doesn't want to help you up because she thinks that might be insulting or or condescending, but she does like move a chair that you're about to have to walk around out of the way, as though she's just tucking it in, and she says, maybe we're more alike than I think maybe you and I are both relics of the old empire, and we're more alike than I thought. And she's trying in her own way to show some compassion. Maybe she's as bad about it as Pyrrhus is. But,
and he like pivots on his crutch to like look back at you and says, I'm not the marrying type, and then walks off.
Alright, that's so good. So I think we're long overdue for a break, so we'll take a break, and then I want to come back and see where Rice is up to, because we haven't seen her for a bit. So chat, we will be back in a minute, and we'll see you shortly.